Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Today is July 4th, 2026. And to many of you who celebrate uh, the, the independence of America from England, I'd say to you, this is a happy American birthday for you. You know, I was not going to do this because I had so many mixed feelings. But then I was talking to a friend of mine last night who saw this from a different angle, and I decided to come on and share with you my feelings. I don't worry about celebrating Independence Day the last few years because it has occurred to me after some research. My ancestors who came over here on the transatlantic slave were still in slavery while America was celebrating its freedom. America got freedom for them, maybe to be an independent country, but we were not even considered a whole person. We were considered three fifths of a person. And during that time, my ancestors were the ones who worked hard, helped to set the helped to set the foundation for America and build America. And we have been treated the worst of all of people. The people who were the foundation for you to get free labor and to even abuse them, to SA them, and to lynch them and do all kinds of things to them, but yet they were free labor and they were the provision you used to build this so-called independent, free, great America. I don't know what those ancestors were thinking. They're gone. And the so-called founding fathers were, my understanding of it, were members of the secret society, Freemasons. So I guess they had their own secrets as to what they were doing. But to say that you are celebrating freedom when you're holding other people hostage and not even considering that they were human beings, I do not see much to celebrate in that. I come to you today as a foundational Black American, not a bitter, not a hateful American, but I'm just stating how I feel. I realize that my ancestors did not please Yahuwah, and that is one of the reasons I truly believe that our tribe ended up being in the hands of those men in Africa and being captured and sold off because he had warned them time and time again, and they were in and out of captivity. The last time they went 70 years, and then I guess he said, I'll turn you over to the oppressors. But what they did not realize what they were doing, or maybe they didn't care, not only were they getting themselves put into a place of punishment, but they also were setting up future generations. They were leaving a legacy for their people to be oppressed. If you look at the way America has operated, every person who comes over here from other tribes, from other nations, have been treated better than FBAs. My understanding of it is some of the people who came over here with skin coloring like mine were told not to even associate with us. We were trifling. We were not this. We were the low-hanging fruit. So a lot of them came on here with the attitude they were better than we. Oh, they could do this and they could do that. We were lazy. We were trifling. We didn't have this going. We didn't have that going. They thought the dominant culture was their friend. Well, the way it's looking now, we might want to look back at that and see who the dominant culture is taking care of. I'm not saying this as a bitter, angry woman. I am not a bitter, angry woman. I want everyone to live as much as possible within peace. I belong to Yahuwah, and his son Yahushua shed his blood for me, as well as for any person who will submit themselves and to be redeemed back to Yahuwah, follow his commandments, and be filled with his spirit and walk by the spirit. You have the same freedom. But what I am saying is this: It amazes me how we can be so abusive to our own in our own homes. Many times this is true in homes where fathers and mothers are very angry and bitter toward their children, but they would treat other people well. There are men who would go to work and become the employee of the month and treats his wife like trash at home. But this is the way America treated FBAs. We were not even a whole person. And I have news for the people who came over here that have skin coloring like mine, who thought you were better, and they might have told you that you were better than us and we were trifling, we were this or we are that. When the fat is in the fire, now they have turned on you. Now where do you go? Because FBAs are tired. Our backs are tired. We have carried this so great America for years and we are tired. We give up. Fight your own battles. We will pray for you. We'll fight for you on our knees, but we're not going to do it anymore. Everything comes up. We are known as good-hearted people, where we are always kinder to other people than we are to ourselves. When we needed help, there were very few people there for us, but we were always willing to carry a sign and fight for the rights of others. Well, I say to you today, I think it's truly coming to an end. Yahuwah is going to redeem his people, and he's going to turn the oppressors over to the oppressees. And I trust Yahuwah that the oppressees will be kinder to them than they were to us. I have something I'd like to share with you. The 4th of July, and this is an article that I found online by Informer. The 4th of July is a federal holiday commemorating the Declaration of Independence in the United States. The Second Continental Congress ratified the Declaration on July 4th, 1776, establishing the United States of America. July 4th is associated with fireworks, parades, carnivals, fairs, concerts, baseball games, family reunions, political speeches, and ceremonies. In addition, Americans commensurate the day with various other public and private events celebrating the country's history, government, and traditions. Yet many Black Americans remain almost ambivalent about this federal holiday. One reason is of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence, 41 owned slaves. Did you hear me? 41 of these men who signed this Declaration of Independence from another country, you just got free, but you're hanging on to slaves. For example, at age 33, Thomas Jefferson, a primary author of the Declaration of Independence, who would become the 3rd president of the United States, owned more than 600 slaves during his lifetime, the most of any occupant of the White House. Having grown up in Virginia and around slaves, Jefferson, who acquired most of his slaves through inheritance, also bought and sold them. In addition, Jefferson fathered 2 children with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings. Now, I want to know, how do you feel about that, brothers and sisters? Just tell me, how do you feel about that? We're not talking about what America looks at angry Black people, or I'm an angry Black woman. I am not an angry Black woman. I am a woman that looks at facts, and Yahuwah has given me a mind that's critical enough to sit down. And this is simple. You don't have to have a critical thinking mind to look at this. Now, you wanted to be from up under the control of another country. You wanted to get yourself free, but you didn't see anything wrong with holding who you consider savages to do your work. You owned them. You inherited them. Do you know slaves were inherited just like money today, a land and property? We were considered property. We were in the same category as animals. May Yahuwah has mercy upon you. You've planted seeds, and you had better pray for a crop failure, because many seeds will come back to your ancestors the way our ancestors have been messed up with all of the drugs and all of the beatings and all of the alcoholism. I'm not saying people don't have a mind to think for themselves, and they do. If you're drinking alcohol, you should not be. You're doing it because it's a choice. If you're using recreational drugs, you don't have to put that back on slavery. You're doing it because it's a choice. But I am saying the motion of self-hatred was set back over 250 years ago, when we did not even know we were whole people. We had no self-value. Everything was snatched away from us. Even life with our own families was not guaranteed, because they could come and sell your sons away to breed him to another camp anytime they felt like it. So I am saying today, all of us had better get right. Because when you stop and think about it, every seed that you sow, if it doesn't have a crop failure, it is going to bring back a harvest. And we have lived in America year after year after years. We have been oppressed by Americans year after year. Now, there are some good people in the dominant culture. I'm not saying that's not. There's some bad people in the dominant culture. Like in my culture, there's many mean and hateful people in my culture. I'm not saying they're not. But I am saying that people who are supposed to be leaders, leaders of the country. When you are a leader, it indicates that you exhibit behavior that others can follow. And you led with a vengeance like this. You led with hatred. You led with no respect or control for other people. But I don't receive that today. And I just pray to Yahuwah one day my people will be set free. I just pray one day you'll know just how beautiful you are. I just pray you would know that you were the apple, and you are the apple of his eyes. No matter what you did to him, he always came back to you. You committed spiritual adultery on him, and he said, I am married to the backslider. So today, for those of you who celebrate the birth of America, I say to you, happy 4th of July. And for those of us who choose not to celebrate, but we are thankful to be here to see this day. And we're thankful that Father brought us through all the things that we've been through. Today, I say, I'm thankful for us. So in the name of Yahuwah, you find peace where you are. Because like I was telling my son, America might be the worst, the best of the worst. Of all the worst countries, America might be the best, but that does not mean America is correct and righteous in all it does. Now, America has opened up its arms to many, many nations to come here. But the people who built it, you closed your heart to us, and you treated us just like we were dirt. Now, I don't have a problem with the fact that everybody has to struggle and go through their hard times, and they have to have their proving process. But I do have a hard time when you refuse to give some of us an equal footing and an equal start. We never had an equal start. And for all of you highfalutin people who come here and call us trifling and this and that, why don't you go back to your country and make it a great country? You come over here to reap off the benefits. My ancestors fought for years just so this place could be built. What about the people who marched in the streets so you would have the right to come over here? Now, I don't know this, but I've been told that before it was very difficult for people of color to even come over here in America. And then you get over here and you're going to look down upon us. Well, power to you. But also, you must remember now, whatever is done to someone else for you, what will stop them from turning on you? Like I told my son, a bad parent may abuse verbally, some physically abuse their children, and do all kinds of things to them. But at the end of the day, when you go to court, that child will still say, that's my mama, that's my papa. So I am not teaching you to dislike or to hate America. I want you to see with your eyes open what it is. And I want you to embrace all of God's creation with love and kindness. This has nothing to do with hate. We're not spreading any hate, but you need to understand it's okay for you to say, I love America, because that's the only parent you know. And when it comes right down to it, abusive parents are not ideal parents. But when they're the only parents a child has, that child will say, I love my mama, I love my papa. Well, it's okay for you to say you love America, and America be blessed. Thank you.